hello, hello. Welcome. Thank you guys so very much for meeting me on the mat for some yoga for a good cause today. I'm so freaking happy to have you here. I'm so happy to be teaching and leading a yoga flow with you all, and I'm so happy to be teaming up with Team Honey Bunny and the Walk to End Alzheimer's. Since there's no actual walk this year in a lot of the country, my dear friend Heather Brucehart, who many of you know and love, wanted to organize some other events to help battle this dreadful disease. So if you check out her page and check out the Team Honey Bunny fundraiser group, there is all kinds of stuff going on between now and between the official date, which I believe is October 10th, but somebody fact check me on that. I might be incorrect. But we've got yoga tonight. There's going to be a Pilates class next week. And there's all kinds of little fundraising events going on with book sales and greeting card sales. And then, of course, you can also just donate. If you don't want to do any of those things, you absolutely don't have to. Whether you are joining in on this class live right now or watching it later, class is going to be saved to the Yoga to End Alzheimer's event, as well as the Melody Butler Yoga Facebook page, so you can always come back to it. So whether or not you're participating live, you can still donate. Even if you come back to it in a week, in a month, whatever that is, feel free to donate. Just write in the notes on PayPal or Venmo that it is for Yoga to End Alzheimer's, and I will send those dollars right along so that we can keep this good fight going. Yeah, I'm so happy to have you here because we are working towards ending Alzheimer's today. We are going to be dealing with some longer holds. We are really going to be finding ourselves in our bodies, in our postures. So instead of moving quick, like we sometimes do in our vinyasa classes, we are really going to take our time in a posture, and we are going to cherish those moments, but we're also going to really honor what it means to be present for greater and greater lengths of time. So to get started, we're going to take a nice, easy seat. If your kitty cat or puppy dog or toddler or best friend or dad wants to join you on the mat, they are obviously more than welcome, and we are happy to have them. And of course, I know I said we're going to be focusing on longer holds in our postures tonight, but if you need to take a break, take a break. That was by no means meant to shame or bully anyone into sticking something out that they're not comfortable with or hurting themselves in a way that they don't need to. And instead, it was just meant to be a little primer so you know what's coming for you. This isn't going to be your fastest power vinyasa flow, but instead, we are going to be relishing and remembering and tuning into our bodies in some new and interesting ways. All right? Feel free to leave comments or shout outs along the way. I'm happy to read all of those once class is done. And yeah, of course, that donation information for PayPal and for Venmo is in the description for this video and in the Yoga to End Alzheimer's event, so feel free to do that there. I'll give you that reminder when we're done with class as well. However, to get us started, finally, I'm done rambling, I promise. We'll take a nice, easy seat, however you're comfy. I'm choosing a crisscross applesauce or a Sukhasana today. Dakota's choosing a Vishnu's pose or a crocodile pose today. You are welcome to sit however you're comfy. Whatever you do with your low body, if you prop up on some blankets or a block, or if you stretch your legs out nice and long, or if you even want to sit in a chair for this beginning moment, you are welcome to. But we do want to stack shoulders over hips. We do want to draw belly button up. We do want to let those shoulder blades drop down to our back pockets and pull our ears up to the ceiling. And if it feels good for you, you can close your eyes down. If closing your eyes is uncomfortable or makes you uneasy in any way, don't do it. Just let your eyes soften. Let them find a focal point, maybe towards the top edge of your mat or a couple feet in front of you. And I want you to take a big breath in through your nose. And let it out your mouth like a sigh. We'll take that 2 more times. Big breath in. And out. In. And out. Now begin to imagine the tip top of your head being pulled towards the ceiling or the sky, almost as though you were on a puppet string. Notice what's happening in your face. Are your eyes squinting? Are your eyebrows furrowing? Is your jaw clenched or your tongue stuck to the roof of your mouth? See if you can allow that all to soften and to relax. Feel the weight of your arms at your sides, your elbows nice and loose. Allow your palms to rest on your knees or your thighs or your lap. Letting go of any tension through your fingertips. Imagine your spine stacking up nice and tall. Each vertebrae gently lifting. You might even visualize that spine, those 24 bones from your coccyx, all the way up to that atlas bone, axis bone. And as you visualize that spine and those vertebrae, begin to visualize a little pocket of air between each vertebrae, between each joint. Noticing that space and that length. Notice yourself balanced on your sits bones. Feel their groundedness into the mat. Release any tension in your inner thighs, the space behind your knees, down your shins, and across the tops and bottoms of your feet, and in between your toes. Let your next inhale breath fill your belly up wide like a balloon. Let your exhale grow you just a little taller. And we'll take a few more rounds of breath like that. Inhaling, expanding wide. Exhaling, growing tall. Start to notice what's happening in your mind. What thoughts or feelings or to-do list items or dinner plans might be swirling around up there. Give yourself permission to let go of anything we don't need anymore. Anything that's not beneficial or productive to this moment. If you like, you might begin to take a mantra or an intention. Maybe repeating to yourself, I am present. I am here now. Or anything else that's jumping out at you. Anything else you might need to keep you anchored in this moment. Focused on this body and this round of breath. We'll take 3 more full breaths right here, each one a little longer, a little deeper, a little more expansive than the last. On your next inhale, sweep your arms high to the sky, fingertips tall. Exhale brings palms to touch and hands to your heart. Take another big breath in through your nose. And out your mouth like a sigh. From here, we're gonna rub palms together, bring a little friction, a little heat to our hands. And then take the heel of your hand and just rest it gently over your eye sockets, fingertips wrapping around the top of your head. And you might rest just right here. You might find a little bit of comfortable pressure. You might even rock the heel of your hand side to side. If you like, thumbs can come to temples for a little massage, or fingertips in your hairline. Maybe you let the heel of your hand drag down the length of your jaw, or your fingertips come behind your ears, or to the bridge of your nose. Or drawing circles around that orbital bone. Just offering a little bit of facial massage. Giving yourself a little love, a little thank you for all of the smiles, all of the worried eyebrows, all of the tears, all of the sneezes. From here, we're going to bring hands to interlace behind the back of our head. Let elbows and forehead drop down, just resting the weight of your hands gently. Finding that long stretch down the back of your neck. If it feels good for you, you can gently shake your head no. Give it one more right and left. Keeping your chin tucked, release those palms to your lap. Start to take some full neck rolls all the way around. When you're ready, switch directions. Take that rotation the other way. And gently come on back to center. Lift that face up nice and easy and give yourself a couple shoulder rolls up, back and down. Good. From here, we're going to stretch both legs long and out, finding a wide straddle. Your straddle might not be the biggest slice of pizza in the box. It might be a little narrower, and that's okay. Wherever those feet land, though, we want to try to flex our toes and send kneecaps to the ceiling. And if we're unable to do that, if we find our toes rolling in, then you've made that pizza slice a little too big. Come down on your portion size. I know it's sad, but it's okay. From here, we're going to come back to those sits bones, balance nice and tall. Take a big breath in, arms high. And then on your exhale, walk your palms down into your forward fold. This is our very first fold, our very first big stretch. Maybe of the day, maybe just of the class, maybe even of the week, man. Who knows? So give yourself a little grace, a little love for wherever you land. On your inhale, think about lengthening out through your spine from your tail to your crown. So your neck grows long, your ribs expand, those vertebrae pull apart. And then on your exhale, maybe we can soften just a little deeper into that stretch. We're going to give it 4 more big breaths, slow and smooth. Two more, you got it. We're going to keep our low body exactly where it is, but walk your belly, your nose, your fingertips over to the right. You might take a hand on either side of your leg and gently try to rotate belly button and sternum towards your knee. And again, inhales, let us lengthen, let us stretch out long. And exhales, let us soften. We're going to take 5 big breaths right here. One more. And we're going to walk all the way across to the left. Again, rotating torso so it begins to mirror that line of our leg. And then thinking about lengthening out. Give it 3 more breaths right here. One more. And we'll walk our way back to the middle. And then back up to a seat. Fingertips are going to reach high to the sky, and then right palm's going to come down to right toes. Left arm opens up and out over your ear, reaching for the wall on the other side of you. And then we're doing the opposite we've done earlier. So instead of trying to rotate that sternum down to our thigh, we're trying to rotate sternum up to the ceiling, feeling that long stretch through your armpit, through your ribs, through your waistline. We'll give it 4 big breaths. This one feels so good right now. Honestly, we could just do both sides of this and call it a day. 2 more breaths. And slowly we'll let left arm draw us back up. Good. Inhale, reach big. Exhale, tip to the left. Reverse that side body stretch or lateral bend. Feel your rib cage rotate to the ceiling. Keep that sternum and collarbone facing me. Right arm comes up and over your ear so that arm is long and we have energy all the way through our fingertips. Our hand's not hanging, we're not bent at the elbow. We're extending that line of energy long from your toes, through your leg, through your hips, through your side, through your arm, up to your middle finger, pinky finger, thumb. Give it 3 more big breaths. One more. And we'll slow come all the way up. Good. Keeping our legs wide, we're going to bend right knee. Hug that knee in towards your armpit. So kind of like you're doing a half frog. And then we're going to take a little open twist right here. So you can either let right arm hug that knee and left hand come behind you. Or you can bring right arm internal to that knee, right hand maybe to right foot, while left arm comes behind you. And again, spiral ribs over to that left leg and then chin all the way around to the back of the room. If you want a little more here, this left hand can find the top of your right thigh behind you. But if that's too much, or if we need a little more support into our posture, just keep that palm on the floor. And give it 2 more big breaths in this twist. Widen our ribs like an accordion. And we'll unwind. Stretch that right leg out back long. Bend your left knee. Find this half frog, half model posture. Right hand can come to right foot, or it can hug at that knee. Or left hand, sorry. Right hand's gonna come behind us, supporting that spine as we lift up and around. Keep a little fire in this long leg. Flexing your foot. Give it 3 more big breaths. Each inhale a little taller. Each exhale a little deeper in that twist. And we'll unwind again. We're going to swing around, finding a tabletop or all fours. Palms come under your shoulders, knees come under your hips. And from here, we're going to drop our belly, lift our tail, heart pulls through, chin pulls forward. Find that cow pose and hold it here. Notice if your shoulders are dropping, and see if you can spread your fingers wider and press into those palms. See if you can gently rotate your elbow pits towards the front edge of the mat. And see if you can press your shins down into the floor while letting that belly drop. It's a lot to do all at once. Take another big inhale, expand wide, and then on your exhale, round it up. Tailbone tucks, chin tucks, ribs and spine to the ceiling. Again, we're pressing the floor away hard, expanding that back body. Breathe into your upper back, your lower back, even the back of your neck. And then from this cat pose, we're going to tuck our toes, send our tails high into a down dog. Good. So aiming for a straight line from your wrists to your hips. Notice if your shoulders are breaking that line in either direction. See if you can find that long diagonal like a mountain. And feel free to bend your knees, reach your tailbone a little higher. And we're going to hold this down dog for 5 big breaths. If you need to come down, that's totally fine. If you want to make little baby adjustments, spread your fingers a little wider. Press in to the 4 corners of your hand. Under your first finger, under your pinky, under your thumb, and out the outer heel of your hand. So we make almost a little suction cup. Make sure head can shake yes and no. Draw tailbone upward. Soften your knees. Spread your toes nice and wide. Make sure you're pressing into your big toe mound and your little toe mound equally so that arch stays lifted. We're going to give it 1 more breath. And we're going to come back down to our tabletop. Good. From here, send those fingertips wide to the side. So inner wrists face each other. Fingers are still wide, and we're just going to rock those shoulders back and forth. Good. 1 more each way. And we'll come back to center, fingertips straight ahead. We're going to stretch our right arm forward, fingertips to the top edge of our mat. When we feel good, add your left leg, heel to the back edge of your mat. So we find that long sunbird line. We're gonna hold it here. 5 big breaths. Use your booty, use your belly. Anything that's touching the mat, press into it, nice and strong. And then hand and foot that are lifted, pull them away from each other. So we have lots of action happening, pressing down, pulling up, pulling apart. Everything moving, all of that energy, as well as our breath, in and out for one more round. And lower down. We're gonna take our opposite side, so left arm forward. When you feel steady, right leg adds in. Make sure you're not locking out that supporting elbow, but not dropping into your shoulder either. So everything's strong. Both arms working equally, both legs working equally. Give it 4 more breaths. Try to keep your nose down to the mat. I know it's hard when you're looking at me and listening to me, but do your best. Keep the back of that neck long and your jaw nice and loose for 2 more breaths. And we're gonna lower down. Again, we're gonna come back to that down dog. Toes tuck, hips lift. And then from our down dog, we're gonna pull forward to a high plank or a push-up. Shoulders over wrists. Those knees might drop down to the mat. Belly button suction cups up. Shoulder blades spread. We're gonna give it 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Elbows snug as we lower down to our bellies. And on our inhale, we're gonna lift up, baby cobra, just chest and chin. Palms could lift up if they wanted to, or they can help you balance. Press into your toenails. Lengthen, lengthen. So we're not trying to lift our chin. We're trying to lift the back of our neck. Imagine you were a baby cat and mama cat had you by the scruff of your neck, pulling you up. Give it 1 more round of breath. And then exhale, lower down, take an ear to the mat. Stretch your arms back beside you, palms up. Let those shoulders roll forward. Let your booty relax. Give yourself a little wiggle on those thighs. Good. Palms are gonna come a little lower by our waistline or our lowest ribs. We're gonna press into that full cobra if it suits you. If this is too much, just stick with your baby cobra, that's okay. Keep a little soft bend in your elbows, heart forward. Again, chin not trying to head to the ceiling necessarily, but the backs of your ears are. So we keep a long line through that cervical spine. This is a big stretch in your belly. I know I feel it. Give it 2 more breaths. You guys got it. So strong. One more. And we're gonna press back to a child's pose. We're gonna keep this as a narrow knee child's pose if that serves you. So our belly drapes over our thighs. We create a little rounding in our back, reversing that cobra. So we release those vertebrae. Just taking an opposite action. Just like we did when we were in that cat spine, on hands and knees, think about breathing into that back body, expanding your vertebrae, expanding your ribs. I'm not sure I've ever said vertebrae so many times in a class. You're welcome. Hope you all know what I'm talking about. I think if you took 8th grade biology, you should. Take 1 more breath right here. And we're gonna come back to our hands and knees. We're gonna tuck our toes. We're gonna sit back on our heels, nice and tall. Good, so we've got shoulders over hips, over heels, over toes. You might need to move those pinky toes out of the way. I usually do. And you might need to scoot your kneecaps forward just a tiny bit for a deeper stretch in those toes. We're going to take another little mini rounded twist. So on our inhale, we're going to reach it tall. On your exhale, we're going to bring right hand to our low back, left hand to the outside of that right thigh. Chin rotates all the way around. Give it 3 big breaths. One more. And come on back to center, reach it up. And switch, left hand to low spine, right hand to outside of left thigh. Rotate around. One more. And we'll unwind. Palms come on either side of your knees as we send our tush to the ceiling and come back to a fold. Now my feet are pretty narrow. It's going to make me feel a little more confident to walk them out to about shoulder hip distance apart. You're welcome to do the same or even wider if that serves you. So we're going to hang out in this fold for a minute. Palms can rest on the mat, on a block. And they can cross at the elbows. You can shake your head yes and no. Keep some softness in your knees. If you start to get dizzy or lightheaded at all, please, please, please come back down to hands and knees. Or even back down to a child's pose. Make sure that jaw is loose. Make sure your throat is loose. Feel that length traveling from your heels up to your hip bones, and then from your hip bones through shoulders into your fingertips and out the top of your head. And give it one more breath. Release those palms, bend your knees. We're going to walk our palms back up our thighs till we come to a standing position. Good. Take some shoulder rolls up, back, and down. Perfect, perfect, perfect. From the top of our mat, we're going to take our right foot and step it all the way back as far as we can. So we wind up in a high runner's lunge. So front knee is over front ankle, toes can wiggle. We are either pretty high in that lunge or pretty low in that lunge. It's up to you. Back heels push into the back edge of the mat, but you can still do that even with a little micro bend for stability. Belly button draws up. Our ribs are going to draw in towards each other like your ribs were trying to give you a hug. Shoulders right over your hips. And those fingertips reach high to the sky in a crescent lunge. We're going to take 4 more big breaths right here. If we need to lower arms or lower back knee, that's always an option for you. But if we're feeling off balance, try to draw inner thighs together. If we're feeling a little weak in our legs, draw that belly button up. Take some of the power into our abs. Give it 2 more breaths. One more. We're going to take right hand down to the earth. Left fingertips up to the ceiling, finding a twist. Good. So this twist for me even offers a little stretch in this front glute. Again, make sure those front toes can wiggle. Make sure wrist is stacked over wrist. And you can look at either hand or right down the middle. We're going to take 3 more big breaths. Keeping your arms where they are. We're going to drop that back knee, untuck that back toe, and sink into that low lunge just a little deeper. If we want, this top hand can stay where it is, or it can come parallel to your back leg, or it might even wrap around, finding your opposite front pocket. We're going to take 4 more breaths. One more. Good. We're going to unwind. Both hands come to the mat. We're going to shoot our hips backwards, straightening that front knee. Finding a half split or Ardha Anumanasana. You might take your index left finger, bring it to your left hip, and fish hook that hip backwards just a little bit to try to level out those hips and hip flexors. It's also going to deepen the stretch in that front hamstring. Toes flex towards your face. If you still want a little more, scooch that heel further away from you. And then without moving your heel, pull your hip bone back. Good, good, good. Give it 4 more breaths. One more. We're going to bend this knee forward again, coming back to our low lunge. Take this front knee, walk it wide to the side, all the way off your mat. Palms and chest to center, and we're going to find that lizard or gecko lunge. So you can hang out right here on your hands. If you're feeling good and warmed up, you might come to your elbows. Whatever's serving you today. If you have a block or a bolster close by and you want to grab that and bring it under your elbows, you're welcome to. So this is a pretty deep hip opener. And just remind yourself to stay in your body. Come back to that mantra if you've set one. We're going to be here for 4 more big breaths. Feel what's happening in your front leg versus your back leg. Notice what happens in your mind when we sit here for a little while. Is there anything else you can do to be more present? 1 more round of breath. Good. We're going to tuck our back toe, lift that back knee. We're going to bring this right foot forward and land in a malasana or yogi squat. So right foot is going to come to the outside of your right hand, and then you're going to sink it down. Good. Those hands might stay on the mat for a little balance, or they might draw up to your heart. Notice how you're feeling on right and left side. We've done a lot of work on one side, so how does that feel? And again, if you need to toss a block under your tush, help make this pose a little more accessible, you are welcome to. You can also take a blanket under your heels. Try to sit up nice and tall, shoulders out of your ears for 2 more breaths. One more. And we're going to bring palms to the mat. We're going to lift our hips as we turn our toes forward and land in that great big fold. This one might be a little wider than your last, and that's okay. That's perfect. Again, you have options: hands down, hands at your legs, hands cross. Shake your head yes and no for 3 big breaths. And release your palms. Walk on up your thighs to standing. Take those shoulder rolls. Good. Still from the top edge of your mat, your left foot is going to step all the way back. Find that high crescent lunge. Remember all those things we talked about. So front toes can wiggle. Front knee over ankle. Fish hook that hip bone. Draw it backwards. If you need to take your stance a little wider, so we're on a train track instead of a tightrope, this is a great option to help maintain balance. Draw up through pelvic floor, through belly button. Let those ribs draw in tight like they're going to give you a hug. Shoulders over hips. Then our arms reach tall. Can you guys hear that car alarm? I apologize if you can. Just one more thing to bring us into this moment, to keep us present and honest with where we are as we hang out in this lunge for 3 more breaths. One more. We're going to find our twist, so left palm down to the mat, right fingertips up to the sky. Good. So now that we're on the second side, and now that you know where we're going, your big challenge here is not to anticipate, not to move there before it's time. Again, we want to try and hold in these postures. Give ourselves permission to really tune in to how we feel each one before mentally jumping to the next. So give yourself 2 more big breaths right here. Now keep your arms where they are, but just lower that back knee. Untuck those back toes. Let hips sink into your lunge a little deeper. And this top arm can stay, or it can come parallel to the back, or it can wrap around, coming to your opposite front belt loop. Maybe chin starts to look up and over, top shoulder to the ceiling. Maybe you have to scratch your nose like me. Notice what's happening in this bottom arm. Stay strong and supported. Don't collapse. Give it 2 more big breaths. And unwind. Frame that front foot. And stretch those hips backwards. Good. Right toes flex. Right hip bone draws backwards. You might even use that right first finger to fish hook it back. Breathe into those legs. Just like we were doing all of our seated stretches. Inhale, stretches and lengthens. Exhale, maybe we can find a little more intensity or a little more relaxation in the posture. It's up to you, whatever you're gunning for today. Also, when we're on the second side, our other challenge is not to negatively or judgmentally compare one side to the other. We all tend to have one side that's a little tighter or a little stronger or has better or worse range of motion or more or less effective mobility. That's okay. And it's good to notice. Good to be aware of in our bodies. We don't want to criticize ourselves for it. So notice what's different and honor what's different, but try not to get too judgmental. For 1 more breath. Good. We're going to come forward into that lunge. Front toes going to open wide to the side. Palms and chest to center. Take that gecko or lizard. Either on palms or on elbows. Breathe into those hips into your pelvis, your hip flexors, your quads, your sacrum, your hamstring, your knees. All kinds of action happening here. Give it one more breath. We're going to tuck our back toe, lift our back kneecap. We're going to come for that malasana squat. So left toes, hop to the top of the mat. Feet wider than your hands. Hips sink down. Maybe palms come to touch and elbows help keep those knees nice and wide and help keep our chest nice and proud. Now that we've done both sides, notice how you feel. Notice what's happening right and left. We're going to take another little twist right here. It's just exactly like we did at the beginning of class. So right hand is going to come in front of our right foot, arm internal to knee. Left arm's going to stretch up on a diagonal to the ceiling. Or if we want, maybe it wraps around, finding opposite back pocket. 3 big breaths, you got it. One more. And come on back to center and take your opposite side. So left hand in front of left toes, bicep internal to thigh, and right fingertips stretch up on the diagonal. Nose can look at either thumb or anywhere in between on that arc. For 3 more big breaths. One more. And bring it right back to center. Good. From here, we're just going to let our tush drop down to the mat. Let feet come in front of you, palms come behind you, and just take a couple windshield wiper twists, right and left. Release that pelvis, that sacrum just a little bit. We'll come back to center. We're going to find a boat pose. So starting on your sits bones, palms can come behind you. You might land right here. You might bring hands to your thighs. You might bring toes up. Keep your chest proud, your neck long. If it feels good for you, fingertips to your feet. Woo. My abs are not there today, so no shame. Take what you need out of this posture. We're going to hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down and come all the way down to your spine. Hug your knees in nice and tight. Maybe give yourself a little rock and roll side to side. We're going to take one last posture, a bridge pose, bringing soles of the feet down to the mat. Toes pointing to the bottom edge of the mat. Heels in line with your hips, and on your inhale, lift that pelvis high to the sky. Press into all 4 corners of your feet, big toe mound, little toe mound, right and left heel, so that our arch lifts up, forming that little suction cup, just like our palms earlier. Back of your neck is nice and long. Chin tucks gently to your chest. Booties are engaged, hamstrings are engaged, quads are engaged. Everybody's working hard. Give yourself 5 big breaths. Strong in this bridge. You've got it. Three more. You guys are so impressive. Last one. Slowly roll that spine down to the mat. Maybe take some windshield wipers right and left. Draw both knees in, back toward your chest. Stretch one leg long down towards the bottom edge of your mat. Let your other leg meet it. Wiggle and adjust hips as you need. Bring arms around you for a great big hug. Send those fingertips to the ceiling. Give them a wiggle. And then let your arms rest down into a low V, palm up. Shoulders can adjust however they need. Gently shake your head no. Rolling chin side to side. And then find your way back to the midline, nose to the ceiling, eyes closing down. Notice each and every part of your body that's touching the floor or the mat. Notice what that connection feels like. Feel those parts of your body become just a little heavier, as though they were sinking down into the earth. Notice the parts of your body that are being touched by air or light. Feel that tickle or that warmth. And then allow those parts of your body to begin to dissolve or melt. Or imagine them being blown like sand across the desert. Until our whole self is connected, is relaxed, is at ease. There's absolutely nothing to do with our body, with our mind, with our heart, except to be in this moment, right here and right now. If you've got the gift of time this evening, you'd like to rest here in Shavasana for as long as you need or as long as you want, you are more than welcome to. If you're ready, you can bring little wiggles to your fingers and to your toes. You might stretch arms overhead, finding a long, full body reach. Or gently draw knees back into your chest for a little squeeze, a little rock and roll, right and left. When you're ready, you can come to one side, finding a fetal position, using an arm as a pillow. And then slowly, slowly use that top hand to help push you up into a seat. Get settled in an easy seat, however you're comfy. We'll all take a big breath in, fingertips tall. Exhale, brings palms to touch, hands to your heart. Take a big inhale through your nose and out through your mouth like a sigh. Repeat that mantra or intention one more time to yourself. And then allow those eyes to blink open. Divine light in me loves and honors the divine light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. So happy to have you on the mat doing some yoga for a good cause tonight. If you haven't yet checked out the event for all the information on yoga to end Alzheimer's and the walk to end Alzheimer's and the ways that you can donate for this class to help support Team Honey Bunny and help us move towards eradicating this terrible disease. That donation information is through PayPal and through Venmo. And like I said earlier, whether or not you participated live, you are more than welcome to donate. Just write a little note in your comments to let me know that it should go to Yoga to End Alzheimer's. And that is where that money will be sent. And I hope you enjoyed the class tonight. I know it's not normally the way I teach or the way I practice to do a full class of long holds. So I'm curious to know how you felt and what you thought, and if that's something you want to see a little more of in the future. Thank you again. I love you all. Good night. Let's see what we got here. Thank you guys for being here. Leave me a comment or let me know how you're feeling. Bye.